Hi, Enrique.
Hey, hi, Shakti. Nice to see you.
Lovely to see you too.
Mm.
Really, really is.
Ah,
And I just want to apologise. My picture isn't great. I need to get my son over. He won't leave the house because the government have told him he can't leave the house yet. So I can't get it fixed at the moment. But you look lovely and clear, so that's nice for me.
thank you, thank you. I'll um, I'll reveal before we start that I'm feeling a little bit nervous about this. The idea of making a video. I I haven't made very many videos at all, and it's only through the love I have for you and how you push me out of my comfort zone a little bit that we we managed to make this happen. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. And the reason for this video is just to really talk about what authentic communication is, because you and I are planning on starting a weekly online circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it would be really nice just to share a little bit about what we do.
Yeah, yeah. So what what I have been doing for nearly 7 years now is events in different formats around, as you say, authentic communication, authentic relating, circling. So using different tools that point at better interpersonal relationships, about more trust, better, deeper communication between people. And those tools and those practices, you can then translate them into your romantic life, into your workplace with your work colleagues, into family, friends. It really translates across the board. So people come to our events from many different backgrounds, whether it is from personal interest to maybe people like therapists that want to connect better with their clients, or just GPs sometimes, or corporate people that they just want to have a better team, or they want to have more authentic leadership rather than the traditional hierarchical leadership. Um, leading from authenticity rather than leading and ordering people to do things because they have to, or because you are just the boss and you can, is coming from a deeper place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the corporate people that I have had in circle, it's been quite life-changing and transformational at a very deep level. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, for me, one of the things that has happened is, although I still get a bit anxious speaking in front of a big group, and like now a little bit doing this video, 7 years ago, it would have been absolutely impossible. It would have just been a big no, and no, sorry, it's not going to happen. And in my previous corporate job, I was asked often to present my work to an audience, and I it was so difficult for me to do that I will shy away from that, and that impacted my career, because I was doing great work and I was getting good feedback from it, but because I couldn't present it, I sort of hit a ceiling where I couldn't progress any further. And I did all the courses possible, on public speaking, and nothing really touched it. And it's only through this work that unblocks you in a deeper way that I'm now able to run an event, and let's say 15 or 20 people come, and I'm able to do that. I still get, when we get to the 20 over people, I still get the anxiety, or a new group, I get that little nervousness, but it feels doable now. It feels like, so my energy in my body has changed in that situation, and it's gone from impossible to possible, even though I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but you know, I don't think I'll ever be a complete natural at you know, talking to a big audience, but it's made a significant change when every other tool that I tried failed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, it's been public speaking. For somebody else, can be you know, overcome a fear of intimacy, or you know, these words in particular, circling it just takes you to what your edge is, and it's going to be different for any of us. I know a lot of people that are totally happy to speak like you totally happy to speak in front of an audience, or to do videos off the cuff like that. And so for you, your edgy theme will be something different that will come up, and for somebody else will be something completely different.
You know what, Enrique, my edgy thing is feels so I feel so honored to have the opportunity to sit in circle and just to be witnessed in my vulnerability. That for me is what it's all about.
Yeah. Allowing yourself to be deeply seen.
Yeah, without anybody, including myself, judging.
Yeah.
And seeing how the circle moves energetically, because always the right set of circumstances and conversations and energies arise at the perfect time, and the messages that are there for all of us. And it's such a beautiful container of this potent energy, you know, where everybody benefits, whether they speak or not. And you know, my job is just to hold that space and direct really away for, or be making one aware of when we're speaking from the head, and when we're dropping into that more vulnerable place. And that's why I love Heart Circle.
Yeah. When you mention the group, it brings me to, you know, when you're sitting in a circle, everyone brings a piece of the jigsaw puzzle to the space. And one of the things that I like a lot about this work is that even though we are often in the role of facilitators, we are also vulnerable, and we are also in a way getting our hands dirty in the space, and we also being emotional with them, and revealing things that are vulnerable. So the line between facilitator and participant becomes thinner. So in that way, it's a very when I sit in circle, I feel very equal, even if it is my group and I'm facilitating. I feel really equal.
Absolutely.
And everybody else's truth is as important as my own, and no truth is more valuable than other.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that happens that is amazing is how you get this honest feedback from each and everyone else in the group, and that gives you such fantastic information about how the world sees you. Because where else are you gonna get true honest feedback? You know, your family, or even your work colleagues, there's always going to be some bias there. But when you sit in a circle where nobody has an agenda, you get in pure honest feedback. And I have heard things about me that I was so surprised. Was, wow, really? Some people see me this way? Wow. So like, to me, 1 hour of sitting in circle is like, I don't know, 20 hours of coaching or therapy or whatever else you want to do. Yeah.
They say that, don't they? And I've actually done one-to-one circle, if you like, with psychotherapists, and Whoa. Very, very interesting, because this work just cuts out the crap, you know.
Totally, totally.
You're just in there, you know. There's no working it out. There's no trying to get out of it. You just cut to the chase, you know. And you know, interesting what you say about what other people think of you, because they've also got their own triggers as well. So I think one of the keys in, you know, an experienced facilitator is being able to identify who's being triggered and who is just really touching their own, you know, voicing their own expression. And whether that indeed is going to impact the other person. I know that you and I have trained with different sort of organizations, you know, and one of the things we do is we give, we call it feedback. We call it, I'm trying to think of the word we call it, but it's a gift. It's a nugget, it's a gift. You know, when someone says something that touches our own heart, which is what happens in Circle all the time, we just share it very briefly, not to take over, not to share our story, but just to thank the person who's shared and express how it's made us feel. So we're giving a gift back to the one who shares. It's beautiful. It's exquisite. And that practice has been life-changing for me.
Totally.
And you have a slightly different way of doing it, you know, and it's beautifully held. You know, I love your circles.
Yeah, and what, like, my style is very soft. Is very much allowing whatever happens, and whatever happens in the circle is always the best thing that could have happened. You know, sometimes I remember at the beginning I will try to make a circle go in a particular direction. You know, like I want to have a particular outcome, even if it was like a subtle intention. It will get in the way of the work. Yeah. So more and more, the more I do this work, the more I relax and let happen. And even if sometimes there is a bit of, you know, friction or a bit of emotions that you could label as negatives happen, maybe some frustration or some anger or some this, it always ends up being for the higher benefit of the group.
Serves a purpose completely and totally. And you often don't see it until after it. Like, there is so much trust that this is what's meant to be happening. And at the end, like, oh, that's why that happened. That's why that person said that. And that's why that person said that. And that's why that person got triggered momentarily. This is the outcome. Everyone's benefited. And I think one of the ways that we know that we are getting the results, and I'm not saying this is a results-based practice, but one of the ways that we know that things have flowed and happened without force is that everybody feels good at the end of it. Even if somebody has touched their grief, the joy that's experienced in being able to touch that grief brings about a feeling of joy. So, you know, we may not always be talking about something that appears joyful, but being able to touch and express how we're feeling is in of itself a joyful experience.
Yeah, and even if we are present with something else, maybe somebody has had you know, a close family member died or something like that, so there is a lot of grief present. We help to, in a way, grease the emotions so they flow better. So even if somebody is in an emotion, because we work with whatever it is and whatever people bring, so if somebody's bringing a lot of grief, we help to grease the wheels for that to move better, or without trying to make anything happen, just allowing for the emotions to flow and for the blocks to lift. Yeah. And I was thinking of something else, how how, like, why do I do this? Why, you know, out of all the other many things that I could be doing, why do I continue to organize these authentic relating and circling events? And really, when I dig deep, is well, this has really touched my own personal life, really, how, because I could give you many other reasons, but when I think about how this work has impacted my own personal relationships, I think that's really the key why I keep doing this. For example, with with my father 7 years ago, my father and I weren't really talking. You know, he lives in Spain. I will call him once a week, and he will just give me, you know, yes and no's and grunts, and that was really the the level of our communication at that time. And little by little, even though I was only me doing this work, and he's not into any of this personal development stuff at all. So even though only half of us was doing the work, I could notice a difference. I could notice a difference because I had unblocked my own things about my relationship with him, and I was able to forgive him for a lot of the things that I felt hurt by. We have developed now, and it's been now for a good 3 or 4 years now that we are we have developed a really good connection, better than it has ever been, really, you know. And and we talk a lot more, and we talk with feelings behind it. We talk from the heart, and for me to be able to connect with my dad at that level, when I had very much thrown the towel with my dad, I thought, well, it is how it is. He's getting on. He's very much set in his ways. This is never going to change. And to see that happen and flourish
Mm.
with a man that is now is nearly 80, and 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 to me that was short of a miracle, you know. A lot of my other relationships have also flourished, um, but it doesn't seem as miraculous to me as what's happened
Yeah.
with my dad, who has no connection at all with this work. Because when I have a great connection with somebody that comes to a circle, well, that person is already, in a way, is also doing the work, is prime. They are interested in this work for a reason, because they want to also better relationships.
Yeah.
So they have a
I think it's also
desire for that. But my father didn't have that desire. He seemed to be happy in his grumpiness, and then something changed,
mm,
and
it's a
that
lovely
to me is priceless. That to me is
I love
priceless.
the story, and I've just got to say that that's not going to be the case for everybody. Sometimes people decide, actually, do you know what? I'm gonna,
Yeah,
I'm gonna end this relationship, even though I love
sure.
you. I'm gonna let you go, and it's not always about coming together. You know,
No, it's not
so
about
I
that.
just wanted to say that, and it's
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah,
respecting our own sovereignty, you know, and respecting ourselves. And
yeah.
I know that in my case, I did a lot of work around the time when I was widowed and I went through a lot of trauma. And it was only last year, sort of 33 years after the event, that I was actually grieving, not for my children, not for my husband, but I was grieving for the 25-year-old me.
Mm,
And just to be able to get myself into that space where I could honor me was very, very beautiful and very powerful. So this work can go really deep. It's not anything to be frightened of, because it's a very supportive community. And I just wanted a really quick conversation. We've done it, Enrique. We've had we've just touched
yeah,
the you know, the slightest essence of what this work is about. I think the only way people can try it is to literally come and try it with you and I taking it in turns of facilitating, so that you and I also get an opportunity to be very much part of the circle.
Yeah, and to relax in receiving. I think that's also
Yeah,
a gift that we can give each other. Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you so much for your time on a Saturday
Mm.
afternoon.
Thank you, Shakti.
You're so welcome. And if
Mm.
anyone is interested, or if you know anyone who would be interested in a weekly session, then do get in touch. And yeah, speak to you soon. Lots of love. Thanks, darling. Take care.
Yep.
Bye.